Do you ever wonder what it would be like to travel? Have you ever visited or lived in a different area? Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Miss Brittany, and I am your host. This is your teacher, Miss Summerell.
Hello. Today you will be hearing a legend about the Aztec and why they chose a particular place to make their home. Today's lesson is titled The Aztec, the Legend of the Eagle and the Serpent.
By the end of today's lesson, we will be able to identify the area in which the Aztec lived, explain that the Aztec established a vast empire in central Mexico many, many years ago, explain that the Aztec had a religion, and sequence 5 pictures illustrating the read aloud of the Aztec, the legend of the eagle and the serpent.
Let's go ahead and get started. Mrs. Brittany, it looks like you're going somewhere. Why are you packing a bag?
Hi, Miss Summerell. I am going somewhere. Well, anywhere. I really need a vacation. I was thinking somewhere tropical like a sandy beach with palm trees and blue water. Oh, doesn't that sound wonderful?
It does. Can I come with you?
Sure, Miss Summerell. The more the merrier.
Miss Brittany, have you ever heard a legend?
Actually, I have. I've read about the legend of Paul Bunyan.
That's an entertaining legend about a larger-than-life lumberjack. In today's Read Aloud, you will hear the legend of how the Aztec people came to live on and around Lake Texcoco in what is now Mexico. Say the word legend with me.
Legend.
A legend is a story that has been told over a long time that cannot be proven true.
For example, Kayla loved listening to the legend of Robin Hood.
That's right. Boys and girls, have you read a legend? Use the word legend when you talk about it. What's the word we've been talking about?
Legend.
Good job. Miss Brittany, the next word we will discuss is island. Do you know what an island is?
Yes, I have been to the Turks and Caicos Island. It consists of 2 groups of islands lying on the southeastern periphery of the Bahamas.
Wow, I bet those islands are beautiful. In today's Read Aloud, you will hear the legend explains why they built their city on islands in the lake, beginning with the island on which they had seen the eagle. Say the word island with me.
Island.
An island is a body of land surrounded completely by water. Can you use the word island in a sentence?
I can. During summer vacation, the boys' family visited a warm island.
That's right. Boys and girls, have you visited an island or seen a picture of an island? Use the word island when you talk about it. What's the word we've been talking about?
Island.
Good job. The Aztec lived in the rainforest in Mexico and Central America, and what we now call the Yucatan Peninsula. Let's take a look at a map.
The story you're about to hear takes place in the rainforest of Mexico and the Yucatan Peninsula. Mexico is a country of southern North America and the 3rd largest country in Latin America after Brazil and Argentina.
A rainforest is a type of forest that is very warm and wet. Many evergreen plants live in the rainforest, which means that the rainforest is green all year long. Rainforests are the Earth's oldest living ecosystems. They are so amazing and beautiful.
These incredible places cover only 6% of the Earth's surface, but yet they contain more than half of the world's plant and animal species.
A rainforest can be described as a tall, dense jungle. The reason it is called a rainforest is because of the high amount of rainfall it gets per year. The climate of a rainforest is very hot and humid, so the animals and plants that exist there must learn to adapt to this climate.
Wow, a rainforest is a really beautiful place.
It really is. Today, we will use the anchor chart behind us to demonstrate our learning. After the story, we will arrange the pictures in order to show the proper sequence of events.
Sequence of events? What does that mean?
A sequence of events is a number of events that come one after another in order. Time order words are essential to helping readers determine when an event happened. When reading a story, you can look for these time order words like first, next, and last to figure out when events occurred in relation to each other.
So you mean like this morning I woke up first and then I ate breakfast. Next I got dressed for school and last I boarded the bus.
That's right. Great job sequencing your morning.
Okay, well, I understand why it's important to do things in order every day because I really wouldn't want to wear my pajamas to school, but Miss Summerell, why is it important to sequence events from a story?
Great question, Miss Brittany. Sequencing events from a story helps with comprehension, especially for narrative text. Sequencing also helps organize information and ideas efficiently. And last, sequencing is also an important component of problem solving across the curriculum, including science and social studies.
Cool, I have an idea. Let's practice sequencing events by finding keywords in the story that we read today.
Excellent idea. Boys and girls, remember that the type of story you will hear today is called a legend.
I remember. Legends are kind of like folk tales. They often tell a story about why things are the way they are.
Perfect. Let's get started. The Eagle and the Serpent. The Aztec people have been walking every day for months now, searching for a new home. They carried the oldest and youngest among them. Some of the weakest were not able to complete the long journey. Some new Aztec had been born on the way and were passing their first days of life in the constant motion of travel. They took short breaks to eat, stopping only at night to sleep. Now, the Aztec were in the center of a great valley. Their leaders of the front of the long line strode once more to the old high priest. "Is this the right place for us to stop?" the leaders asked. "Is this our new home?" The priests were very old. His long hair was gray and wrinkles furrowed his brow, but he stood as straight as the mightiest warrior. When he spoke, it was always with a voice that was strong and sure. Once again, he told them, "No, not yet. We're waiting for a sign from the gods. When they want us to stop and make a home, they will tell us." So their journey continued. Finally, one day, their forward scouts came back to report. "There is a great lake ahead. In the center is an island. There are no signs of enemies anywhere. There are not even any people to be seen."
Wait just a second, Miss Summerall. I heard a sequence word.
What word did you hear?
The text said, "Finally, one day their forward scouts came back to report." Finally is a sequence word.
Great job paying attention. Let's keep reading to see if we can find more sequence words. Then we will camp on the shore, said the Aztec leaders. We can all use a rest, and we can wash the dust off ourselves. So they all moved forward. In several hours, they had reached the lakeshore. Suddenly, the high priest's eyes opened wide. He raised his hand and pointed. "Look!" he exclaimed. On the island, the people all turned to see what the priest had seen. On the island stood a tall green cactus. Sitting atop it, unharmed by the cactus' sharp thorns, was a great bird, an eagle. One of its powerful hooked talons or claws held the eagle steady on the cactus branch. In its other talon was a long, wriggling snake. As the Aztec people looked on in wonder, the eagle began to eat the snake. "It is the sign," the people all muttered, and they fell to their knees on the green lake shore. A small boy knelt on the ground beside his mother, tugging at her robe and asking, "What sign?" The mother gathered her son close to her and promised that he would hear the story of the Aztec, the people, before the end of the day. For now they sat in awe of the sight that was before them. Other children were curious as well to know what this unusual sign was all about. Why were the parents and grandparents so amazed by the sight of the eagle eating the snake? That afternoon, they sat in wonderment at the foot of the ancient priest as he retold the story that had been passed down among the Aztec for generations.
Like the Maya, the Aztec also believed in many gods, each in charge of a different thing.
You're right. Despite believing in many gods, there were certain gods that the Aztecs considered more important and powerful than the others. Did you know the priests were responsible for many things and had to perform all sorts of events in the temples? They were well respected and powerful in the Aztec society.
Miss Summerell, that is so interesting. Let's keep reading.
Many, many years ago, he began, our people lived in the far north. One year, no rain came to their lands. Their crops dried out and died in the sun-baked fields. They feared that the rain god was angry with them, though they did not know what they had done wrong. So the Aztec leaders turned to the wise priests and asked them, "What shall we do?" The priests answered, "The gods wish us to leave our home. Our stories have told of a time when all our people would have to move on. That time has come. We will go south," the Aztec leaders said to the hungry people. "Some of our brothers have gone there already and are serving as soldiers for the rulers of other tribes. These brothers have sent back word that there is a huge valley there with plenty of water. They say we may have to fight the people who live there to force them to let us in. But we are Aztec. We fear no men, only the gods." And so, a few days later, they put all that they could carry onto their backs and set out for the promise of green valleys with plenty of water for drinking and growing crops. Day after day, month after month, they traveled, resting only at night. That was many years ago, but our people have never been settled for long. Every time we settled in the green valley around us, we have been forced to move time after time from one place to another. For years, we have sought the sign of our new home, predicted by the gods long ago. The gods said that when the Aztec people saw an eagle on a cactus eating a serpent, they would know that they had found their true home. For nearly 100 years now, our people have wandered in search of this sign from the gods. And so, the old priest continued, "You can see why this is such an important day for our people. At last, we have found our home." The children smiled at one another. They began to understand the importance of seeing the wondrous sight of the eagle eating the snake. They began to realize that they would no longer have to wander without a home. "We are home," they said to one another. "Yes," their parents said to them, "you are home. We are all home." That is the legend of how the Aztec came to live on and around Lake Texcoco and what is now Mexico. The legend explains why they built their city on islands in the lake, beginning with the island on which they had seen the eagle. This map shows Lake Texcoco in Mexico. The entire lake basin is now almost completely occupied by Mexico City, the capital of the present-day nation of Mexico.
Whoa, that was an interesting story about the Aztecs.
You're right, Miss Brittany. Can you answer a few questions from the story?
Sure.
The Aztec used the story about the eagle and the serpent to explain where they should make their home. What makes this story a legend?
Well, a legend is a story told over the years. It may or may not be true, but there is no way to prove it either way. And this story was used as an explanation for why the Aztec had settled where they did. So I think that is what makes the story a legend.
Great job. Did the Aztec move around a lot or a little at the beginning of the story?
Boys and girls, do you know? In the beginning of the story, the Aztec moved around a lot in search of a new home.
That's right. Next, what did the Aztecs see that made them decide to stay and live in this area around Lake Texcoco?
I know. They saw the sign that they believed was from the gods, the eagle on the cactus eating the snake or serpent.
Good job. Now think about the end of the story. Was the ending of the story happy or sad?
I think it was happy. Boys and girls, what do you think?
Can you explain why you think this legend was happy?
Sure. I think it was happy because the Aztec found a place for their home and they didn't have to travel anymore.
Great observation and great job answering those questions, boys and girls. Miss Brittany, you did well with finding a sequence word in the story.
Thank you. I was really paying attention.
Well, boys and girls, do you remember what sequencing is?
Oh, I do.
Okay, Miss Brittany, please remind us.
Sequence of events is a number of events that come one after another in order. Like, first I woke up and then I was awesome and...
Okay. Yes, Miss Brittany, I think you got it.
Boys and girls, now that we have read the story and understand what sequencing means, let's use what we have learned.
It sounds like you are ready to practice sequencing by adding pictures of events from the story to our anchor chart. Miss Brittany, would you pick up our first picture?
Sure. The first picture is of the journeying Aztec.
Boys and girls, when did this happen? That's right. This picture goes in the first box. Let's do some more. Miss Brittany, choose another one.
You bet. This picture shows the Aztec priests. I know this was the second event of the story, so it should go in the second box.
You are correct, Miss Brittany. Let's keep going. Choose another one.
Our next picture shows the Aztec scouts pointing to Lake Texcoco. Boys and girls, this is our next event in the story. Where do you think the picture should go?
If you said in the third box, you are correct. Let's try another one.
The fourth picture is of the eagle and snake on the cactus, the sign. This was toward the end of the story, so I think it goes in the fourth box.
You got it.
We have one picture left to sequence. I bet I know where it goes. This picture is of the Aztec city on the island of Lake Texcoco. This is where the Aztec people settled. So I know it is last.
Great job. You have just ordered the sequence of events from the story. Thank you so much for your help. Boys and girls, we have learned so much today. Let's recap. Miss Brittany, can you wrap up today's lesson in a few sentences?
Sure. Today we heard a legend about the Aztecs and why the Aztecs chose a particular place to make their home. We also learned about sequencing the events in a story.
Great job, Miss Brittany, and great job, boys and girls.
Thank you for joining us today. All rights and credits from this lesson belong to Core Knowledge Language Arts. We would like to thank them for publicly sharing these materials. The views and opinions expressed in this lesson are those of the Core Knowledge authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Mississippi Department of Education.
If you are interested in reading more about the Aztec, check out these books at your local library or online. The Aztec, True Books, American Indians by Andrew Centella.
The Aztec Empire, True Books, Ancient Civilization by Sunita Apt.
The Aztec Empire, Excavating the Past by Nicholas Saunders and Tony Allen.
Together with your family, you may also want to locate the region where the Aztec lived on a world map or globe. If you do not have a world map at home, you may be able to obtain one at your local library.
So use what you've learned today. Write or dictate words or sentences that describe the pictures and retell the story. And remember to use the word legend in a sentence.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you again soon.